Hey everyone, and welcome to On Our Days Off, where we are having conversations, making space, and figuring it out. I am your host, Jordana, here with my co-host, partner, husband, and best friend, Ed.
What up, though?
Welcome. Welcome to the show. If this is your first time, or the pod, if this is your first time joining us, for those of you who listen to us or watch us on our YouTube page, welcome back.
Thank you.
Yes. To stay up to date with us, you can follow us on Instagram at On Our Days Off, or you can subscribe to our page. Or if you enjoy listening over watching, you can catch us anywhere you can listen to podcasts.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Yes. I can feel my coffee kicking in. I feel a little more awake now.
I feel you. I feel like I didn't even drink coffee, but we're good.
Really?
Yeah.
You got extra shots of espresso in your coffee today.
Dude, I've just been a coffee trooper for so long. It's just like brings me to normal. And now I'm just a little bit hot for it. That's all.
Now you're just
a little bit moist. Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I can't do it because then I start having palpitations and I'm getting antsy. One extra shot of espresso is enough for me. I can't do any more than that. I used to be able to, but then I was like, I gotta wean myself down off of this caffeine.
Real. I get it. You're a strong soldier. I am not.
Okay, before we get to what the podcast is about today, I feel like I just have to just get this off my chest, or I'm just going to be distracted for the entire episode.
We've been distracted for like the last 3 days, just breaking down the multiple levels of this thing. It's a lot.
It's a lot. We're going to talk about it, and then we're going to move on, because I'm sure many of you all have heard, seen, watched, however you got the news about.
Unless you've been living under a rock for the most part.
Yeah. Will Smith slapping Chris Rock at the Grammys. I think everyone's, even my first reaction, everyone's reaction, it seemed like no matter who you were, like when I'm talking to family or I'm watching, personalities on the internet, everyone was like, is this real?
Man, I still hope it's fake.
Yeah,
I hope it's fake. But go ahead.
It's not fake, unfortunately, but I just feel like I did not plan on getting this news on a Sunday evening. I just was like, what happened?
First of all, it wasn't news. It was just a polarizing moment that nobody expected. I wish it didn't happen.
I wish it didn't happen. For those of you who don't know what happened, it was the Oscars, live television. Chris Rock made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith, who's
used the term joke very lightly.
Yeah,
because it was
to him
not
it was
funny.
a joke, but
it wasn't funny.
He made a joke. He's a comedian. He made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's hair, or their lack thereof, about her bald head. He had made a G.I. Jane joke, which I don't know if you're familiar with the movie G.I. Jane with Demi Moore. Yeah, where she has a low buzz cut, pretty much almost bald in the movie, but he had made a joke referring to that movie. And most people know, from what I'm reading on the internet, Chris Rock did not know that Jada Pinkett Smith is open about the loss of her hair because of her alopecia.
Yeah,
that's something that she's been struggling with. So anyways, he made the joke, and then you could tell Jada Pinkett Smith was bothered by it.
Will laughed at first. We have to point that part out. Will laughed at first.
Will laughed, but I think that was just a nervous laugh. You know how you laugh? Yeah. I mean, we all laugh in uncomfortable situations, because I feel like it's just like a coping mechanism, or, it's just like you just kind of laugh it off, even though you feel uncomfortable, it's not funny. I think possibly that's what that was. And then he turned and saw his wife was uncomfortable with what Chris Rock said. So then he proceeded to walk up on stage and slap Chris Rock on an international stage with millions of people watching.
Just to go back to that part, I don't know if it was nervous laugh. I think he just was like, it was an industry laugh is what I would call it. Like, whether it was nervous or not, it was an industry laugh. He was just like, okay, ha, 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 ha. And then he looked over and it was like, oh, she don't think this is funny.
Yeah, she doesn't like this.
Yeah. And then she whispered something in his ear, and that's when he walked on stage and did what he did.
I didn't see that she whispered something in his ear.
Yeah, she whispered something. She leaned over, like he was laughing, and then he looked over and stopped laughing. And then she leaned over and whispered something to him, which she said, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
She whispered something to him, and then that's when he got up and walked to the stage. And the historical, honestly, it's an embarrassing moment.
It's a sad moment. It was a sad moment, honestly. The whole thing is just sad. Whether or not Jada whispered something in his ear, it still doesn't mean you walk up on stage and slap someone.
Yeah, you're too grown, too old, too mature to let anybody get to you like that. You have to have thicker skin. Especially, you would think Will knows that with the industry that he's in.
Yeah.
But I also think that like this was Will, like Chris Rock was just like, Chris Rock's face was a placeholder for all the memes and all the jokes that we've been getting off.
Yeah.
On the Smiths,
yeah.
The Smiths expense over the last, I don't know what, like 3-4 years at this point.
I don't even know, however long.
Yeah.
I do agree with that, even though it's not an excuse. And
no, it's
you know, we do not condone violence of any sort. You should not have walked up there and slapped Chris Rock. But I do think, just from like reading things and all the things that he's been going through on the red carpet, you know, because he was at the Oscars because he was nominated and he won. Was it Best Actor?
Best Actor for, or was it Best Actor? Best Actor for King Richard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's been doing red carpets about this movie, and it's like a great, we have not seen the movie yet, but it's about Venus and Serena Williams, and I don't know anyone who doesn't know their story. I'm not going to get into it, but two iconic and successful and, you know, Black women that I respect so much, and just a story of like their family.
This is like little correction. This is a movie more about the father.
About the father, you're right. Yeah,
Venus and Serena.
Right.
So it's more about the father.
Right. It's more about their father. Right. We haven't seen the movie, but yes, it is more about their father. But just the fact that, like, you know, this is a story about, you know, a Black man protecting his Black wife and children, and from what I'm hearing, people who have seen the movie that this is about. And it's just like, dang, like he can't even like have his moment on the red carpet with his wife to just like enjoy what this movie is, like the message and the symbol of this movie. But it's like, also, I mean, I know they put their business out there, but it's like, is it wrong to ask, like, can the man and his wife just enjoy like what this movie is and what this movie symbolizes and what this movie means without, you know, because there were people, I think with the previous there was another award ceremony like the SAG Awards, and someone had mentioned something to them about entanglements while they were on the red carpet, and it's like, and honestly, I'm just overhearing about that. Like, okay, you got your jokes off. It's like, can we move on? So I just think between everything probably that Jada discusses on the Red Table Talk, and then all of the jokes and memes, like you said, that have come from that. And then even some things she said since, because I know they're very transparent about their marriage and their relationship. But I mean, I feel like you do have to have some decency. And like how you said, this was probably just Chris Rock was just a build up to.
He was a placeholder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was everything building up over however amount of time he's been feeling this way.
Look,
which is still not okay.
You have to, like social media shouldn't cause the things that it causes in people's life, but it does. And we have to recognize that. And if you're going to be open, talking about your relationship, the good, bad, and ugly, you have to have a certain decorum to carry yourself, because somebody's going to say something. He's Will Smith. You know what I mean? Like, somebody will probably say something to Ed Nelson if I'm putting my business out like that. And then, like, you know what I mean? Like, you just... It's sad to see. I also very much feel Will on just like, all right, this is enough.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Joke about me, joke about whatever, but just don't bring my family into this.
Right.
I get that.
Yeah.
Here's my biggest problem is that it overshadowed everybody else who won that night.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, look, the situation happened, whatever. But
Yeah.
it overshadows, like, it's not just about Will Smith in that moment. You have other minority groups winning their Oscar for the first time. You have other people, even non-minority, just other people's big night. It's not about, you were here to accept one award, and there are hundreds of others throughout the night. Nobody else remembers what else happened that night except for Will Smith smacking Chris Rock. And it just, your actions, though, like, you feel like you need to act and stuff, and rightfully so, but like, you have to have the self-awareness that, like, this might not be the time and the moment to do this. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. And yeah, it overshadowed.
I was going to say one more thing.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
It does. And even outside of the other people, it overshadows his win, right? It's just like, okay, Will Smith finally got the Oscar, but he finally got his Oscar, and it's like, but he smacked Chris Rock. Right. So it's just like, it's going to happen. You just have to be a little bit smarter about how you carry yourself.
Yeah, it did. It really did just taint like the whole evening.
It did.
Like, I'm glad, there's a lot of people, and I was just like online, like looking at all the different responses, to what happened. And, of course there's people like, man, I would have knocked Will Smith out. I would have slapped, Will Smith back. And lots of Black women are like, actually, it didn't bother me because, because of all the conversations we hear about, Black women not being respected and protected.
Yeah.
And so lots of Black women were like, no, that was just a Black man protecting his Black woman.
I agree with all that.
There's like all these different
moments. Yeah. Just not the moment for it.
Right.
Just wasn't the time.
It wasn't the time to do that. And then it's like, there are other displays of protection besides violence to display that you respect and you want to protect your partner. But also too, I'm glad Chris Rock didn't hit him back, honestly, because like, I don't want to see two Black men, two successful, well-respected.
I would have been the last Black host for an Oscar probably in like 80 years if that happened.
Like brawling on an international stage. Like, I didn't want to see that either. So we can all say what we would have did or what Chris Rock should have did. But I feel like I'm glad Chris Rock did not hit him back, because I don't want to see Black men fighting on a stage like this. And it was the first time an Oscars was produced by like a whole Black crew.
I'm saying, like,
so I was like, we just had all these great things happening that night, and then it's like, the main thing the main thing we're gonna remember is the slap.
Will smacking. Let's just move on. It's been ran into the ground. All the jokes been made.
The jokes have been made.
We ain't throw our 2 cents on it, so we just did. All right.
Yeah. I will say though, I feel like everyone's putting in their 2 cents on it. The main 2 cents is like, this was one of the things though is like that we have to acknowledge is that this was a display of privilege, because you can't just be walking up to people slapping them because they said something disrespectful to your partner and then return to life and carry on.
Because that's exactly what happened.
Will Smith can, because he's Will Smith.
Privilege. Well, I'm just saying, you said you can. I was like, well, apparently Will Smith can.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Will Smith can, but I'm like, listen, that everybody ain't Will Smith. So it's just interesting.
It's an ugly incident, shouldn't happen. Will should definitely feel a lot of embarrassment and shame. He should be ashamed.
And he has since apologized.
You know how I feel about those apologies. It's all publicity, but look, it's an apology.
Well, yeah, he should apologize.
Yeah, he should. But I don't think we'll see Will Smith at the Oscars for a little bit.
Honestly, I'm not surprised. If we, I won't be surprised if we don't see him. I don't think they should strip him of his Oscar, because
that's too far. I mean, come on.
I know that's people are talking.
Take Weinstein's.
Exactly.
Take all them other ones.
You got to take Harvey Weinstein. Yeah, you got to take a lot of people's Oscars if we're going to start stripping people.
I don't think they're going to open that book. They're just going to be like, okay, we're just saying this to make it sound good, but that's Pandora's box for them. If they take Will's, Roman Polanski, you got Mel Gibson, take all them joints too.
Yeah.
Take them all.
You got to take all exactly. So I think just to end on it.
Now that we got the deep stuff out the way, just watch your mouth. You can't be walking around talking to grown folk like this. Like, these are grown people.
Yeah.
And Will Smith, again, you have to carry yourself better as a grown man.
Mm-hmm.
But like, hey.
You do. I mean, you have to, especially when you have that platform.
Yeah.
What's that? Someone tweeted something you showed me. You showed me something someone tweeted. I saw someone else screenshot this too. I forgot who said it. Some brother tweeted it, but it was just like a solid piece of advice. Like, if you are someone who thinks there's a scenario where like can't get slapped, I just would not recommend living that way.
Don't recommend it. Highly unrecommended.
Don't just don't do it.
All right, that's
but anyways, let's move on.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. Well, it's a good segue into what we want to talk about today. Because we're in our mid 30s now.
Yeah.
You be trying to say you're not because you still got one more year.
Girl, I'm in my early 30s. I'm in my earlies.
Okay, I'm closer to the mid 30s.
The middle-aged cougar over here.
Boy, please with yourself. So we've just been having a lot of conversations about like things that we just are coming to the realization of, or coming to the realization of, like, in our 30s. We still have many things that we have not learned about life yet, obviously. Being in your 30s is a really short amount of time on earth. But yeah, we've just been talking about that, like just in general.
And I mean, the 20s was definitely like a wild time for yo boy. Me personally, I mean, one thing I guess I wish I would have learned in my 20s, man, is, simply the main thing is just patience, man. Like, for whatever reason, when we come out of whatever we're going into when we're in our 20s, it's like, I gotta be CEO tomorrow, and if I don't, then I fail. You know what I mean? Like, it's just such a wild concept that we really was out here like, I need to be 21, and like, I don't have a house yet. I don't have my Lambo yet. You know what I mean? It's just like social media, and I hate to keep bringing social media into this, but I felt like when we were in our 20s, that's when social media was just like becoming what it is now.
Yeah, it was not what it was when we were in our 20s.
No. We was like MySpace.
Yeah.
That was even before our 20s. That was like teens.
Yeah.
Late teens, like 18, 17, 18, 19. I'm talking 20s. Like, social media was really becoming what it was. Now it's still just Facebook. Instagram wasn't out yet. But like, you see these people out in the world, you'll be like, man, he 21, he got that. And like, man, I'm over here like one job away from flipping burgers. You know what I mean? Like, I just wish I understood patience with myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that exactly. And then I also even think, to take it back even farther, it's like, 18 is the age where, like, you can vote, or like it's legal to do certain things. Like, it's just like we have all these staples, like 18 years old, right? And then like 21 years old, like, okay, like you can buy alcohol now, you can drink legally, but okay, like there's those ages. But like, I just think in real life, do you think it's realistic that when you're like 18 or 21, like when you're leaving high school, going into college or whatever it is you're choosing to do after high school, I just don't think it's realistic. Even though I knew what I wanted to do, I wanted to become a nurse long before I finished high school. But that's just me. But I don't know if it's real for like everyone to know what they want to do when they leave high school. That just sounds unrealistic.
You are genuinely the only person I know, and maybe your sister, I'm not sure, but who was just like, I know what I want him to, you just, I'm not saying you knew your path to a T, but you were like, all right, I'm just going to go over here and see if it works. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I'm just going to say I'm not going to speak for the evil twin sister, but you are the only person I know who had that. Like, he was like, I'm going to be a nurse. Let's go for that. Yeah. People might've went to college with like, I want to be this, but the major changed. You know what I mean? Right. Like, It never,
right. Not only that,
it's an unrealistic expectation to put on yourself.
It is. It's like you change your major, and then I know some people who have degrees, college degrees, and they come out of college not even working in the field that their degree is in.
Yeah, and people still aren't.
Yeah,
I mean, like all these years later, they have this degree, and it's still like I'm not even working in that field, and I'm $50,000 plus $100,000+ in debt.
Right. Right.
I didn't go to college, so let's just make that very clear. Like, I did not go. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it was like, I think it's different in a sense that like, there are so many things that you could probably just through like technology, would say even YouTube. There are so many things that you can just YouTube and learn, and then take those skills and monetize it, make money off of it.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
I don't know. I don't think YouTube was as big as it was when we were like 18, 19. I know it was a thing. No.
I mean, YouTube was not, no, it wasn't like, I feel like that's the time. Look, YouTube became popping. YouTube became famous because of the Janet Jackson Super Bowl movement. The owner was like, everybody's looking for this thing. Like, let me just create somewhere somebody can find it.
Right.
Like, it literally, YouTube was started off at Janet Jackson's nipple. Like, call it what it is. Like, yeah. And then it became what it was. But to answer your question, I mean, yeah, you can pretty much find anything on YouTube. And then, but that's usually like skill-based things, you know what I mean? Like,
right. Those are like skill-based things. I think the point that I'm just trying to make is like
I'm just saying, you can't YouTube being a nurse. You know what I mean? You can't.
Exactly. There are many things you have to go to school for and learn the craft or the art of what you're doing. Absolutely. And I'm a firm believer in education. I still believe education does put you ahead of some people. That degree, some people say, oh, it's just a piece of paper, but that's not true. Like, that piece of paper does put you in a category that people who don't have that piece of paper will never enter, unfortunately.
No, are there other people in that room, in your same room, who doesn't have that degree?
Right.
Yeah, but usually that's because of nepotism. They were hired on from somebody, not work their way to. So
right. Yeah. But I'm just saying that just to say, like, also, I do believe that, like, if you can find a skill that you can teach yourself and then you can make a living off of that, I'm like totally for that too. Because I mean, why put yourself in all this debt if you can just learn something, learn a craft, learn an art, learn a skill, and build off of that? And I'm not saying that won't cost money, but it may be less costly than going to college and putting yourself in tens of thousands of dollars of debt versus coming out, learning something, and then, you know, going off of that.
Such a wild concept. Like, I feel like we're honestly maybe like the first generation of people where the American dream just became, honestly, maybe a little bit, you can't get it. You know what I mean? Like,
you said even you can, parents, or you can't?
You cannot.
Oh.
You know, I mean, in the way that it was taught to us, like, you go to school, you go to college, you come out, you get the degree, you get the job, you get the house, you have the kids. You know, I feel like my parents, because our parents are totally two different generations, but
yeah,
my parents' generation was maybe the last generation who could come out of college, work for a couple years, and then buy a house. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not the case anymore. It don't matter where you live. I mean, unless you live like in the South somewhere where houses are just dirt cheap. But I mean, it's tough.
It's tough. Yeah, I think that, but to speak to what you had said initially, like, you know, feeling like, oh, I don't have the Lambo yet or the house or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I think that, you know, success is something different to everyone. I think lots of times when you speak to people about success, I'm not saying this is true for everyone, but I think this is something I had to unlearn too, because this is something that what I defined as successful too, which I feel like is a part of my success. But like having the degree, having the job title, having the years of experience, there's nothing wrong with all of that as well. But I have also met people who have all of that and they're like, okay, I have all of that. Now what? Like, is this what success feels like? Like, you get it and then it's like, okay, like,
I feel like that depends.
It doesn't
on
feel
your
how you
dream.
thought. What'd you say?
That depends on your dream in life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like if your dream is just to be like, all I ever wanted to be was like a doctor, then
Right.
hey, that's fine. Like be a doctor till the day you die. But like some people, i.e. you, might get a little bit of tired. Might get a little bit of tired of that. I'm not saying that you regret going to go get your degrees, because it was definitely a smart thing to do, but like I'm sure maybe, and I'm speaking for me, I'm not saying you said this, maybe you probably wish it was like, maybe I thought about this a little bit more. You know what I mean? Or
No,
not, I don't know.
no, I don't regret it. I love being a nurse. I don't
Okay.
regret anything. I'm just
I
saying
think
in a
that's just
sense.
important to hear. Like, do not regret going to go get your degree.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
don't regret anything at all. I'm happy that I did what I wanted to do. And like I said, I knew I wanted to do this before I even left high school. I'm just talking about what I think what people project on you as like success. Like
Dream.
you got to get the degree, then you got to get the job, and then you got to stay at the job for X amount of years and work your way through an organization, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think if that's what you want to do, and we need people in organizations that really care about organizations, no matter what your job is, we need those people. I'm just saying, I think you have to determine what success is for yourself, because some people's success is, oh, I can take care of my family, and they don't have a degree, they don't have this title of like CEO or some type of administration. Yeah. So I mean, I think it's whatever success is to you, but I think looking back, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this, because like how you said, our parents, they were trying to make sure that like we could grow up and take care of ourselves, so that was the main thing. So I think that my parents allowed me to do that. And I think because of that, now I can be like, okay, I've had success as a nurse. That doesn't mean I can't grow more and do more things. Absolutely doesn't mean I have like accomplished everything there's to accomplish. I'm definitely not saying that, but I'm just saying, I can also do other things.
Yeah, you want to.
Yeah, and I want to.
And I feel like, people get tired of being an employee,
Yeah.
which is a very fair thing. I mean, look, man, this is kind of comes back to being 20 versus 30. Like I swear, the second I hit 30, I'm like, everybody just leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, not like in a rude way.
Yeah.
But like, you don't really you want to start doing stuff for you. You know what I mean? You want to build your team, not build somebody else's team. You want to do those things for yourself because you now have experience in certain stuff. And you just want to, and that's fine.
And there's no special timeline. I think that's, there's, I think that whenever you're like young, you think there's a certain timeline that you need to have certain things by, but that timeline is just not real. That's not real life, because
I don't fully agree with that.
You don't agree that there's no timeline?
Yeah, I don't fully agree with that.
What do you
I do think if you're trying to be a rapper at the age of 50 and you've never made a song before, I'm not saying that it can't work, but like, come on.
You're saying like you've been writing these rhymes for like 30 years and you have no success.
Yeah. I mean, not even, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. Things do have a window. I'm not going to agree fully with that statement.
Yeah.
But, depending on what you're trying to do, i.e. if you want to start a production type business, there's no window on that. You know what I mean? So I agree with you, but I don't fully agree with you, because some people might take that and be like, you know what? 65 years old. I've always wanted to be Run DMC. Let's do it now. You know what I mean? And fine, hey, if that's what they want to do, then do it. But don't expect to have the #1 album in the country. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, this timeline, I feel like that we make for ourselves, maybe because we're comparing ourselves to other people, like how you said, because we're like, oh, well, this person has this age, so I should have this too. Or this person has a house. Okay. So
I get you.
But there's no, when is the appropriate age to buy a house or get married, or like that's going to be different for everyone. And then honestly, there are some people who just came to the realization, because I know some of these people too, they're like, actually, I don't want to be married. And I think that's fine. Like,
I don't want to buy a house. I don't want, you know what I mean? Like, that's okay.
So I think it's important to like determine what success is for you. Even though, like I said, I'm glad that my parents pushed on me like education and make sure you can take care of yourself. Like those are all very important things. But yeah, I also think you have to do what is best for you, because you can't be living somebody else's dream or someone else's goals.
Absolutely not. Unless they align with yours, then go for it. But yeah, I get what you mean for sure. Yeah, like just speak on just I don't know why. Like we were just like, we're 21. We're supposed to have it all.
We have to have it figured out. Yeah.
It's so insane. Like you're still a kid, honestly. Like you know how to pay a bill, great. So what? Like you know how to pay a cell phone bill, great. So what? Like, those are basic things. That does not make you an adult. You know what I mean?
I understand what you mean. Yeah. Dude, yeah. I'm thinking back to my 20s. So, dude.
Please, if you're look, 21 to 25, look, man, just slow it down. You don't have to have it all figured out. I'm not saying don't do anything. Like start your journey. But like the start of the journey, you're not going to be the CEO. You can't, you know what I mean? Like you just
I think
give yourself a little grace and a little patience and time. Yeah.
Just to add to what you just said, you're not going to be perfect, but I do think also be mindful that the things that you do today, and I feel like this is just no matter how old you are, the things that you do today can affect your tomorrow. So don't think, just say, well,
these are foundation building years for sure.
Yeah.
So don't be reckless. You know what I mean? Because what you do at 21 can affect you when you're 30, 40, 50, 60.
Right.
What we're saying is that if you're on the right path, you do not have to have it all figured out. You're not going to get everything by the time you're 25. Yeah. It's just not. I'm not saying that's not the truth for you, because some people are just some special beings in the world. We do have those people. But for the normal person and the average person, I mean, probably not.
Yeah.
Take some time.
Hey, listen, I feel like every decade, I just feel like, not even every decade, every year, but I feel like as you age, you just keep learning lessons. So just every looking back on my 20s, I just think about some of the stuff I just believed so
Did you ever think that you had it all figured out in your 20s?
Did you ever think I had it all figured out?
Huh?
Did I ever think I had it all figured out in my 20s?
Did you ever think you had it figured out? Like, I got this life thing. You know what I'm saying?
I don't ever remember having that thought, but I definitely remember thinking, like, when I graduated from nursing school and I passed my boards.
Yeah.
I definitely felt like, okay, like, because I was like, okay, I'm a registered nurse now. Like now I'm like entering a field, like a profession. And I was like,
what?
I was like, yeah, it was, not that I wasn't nervous or scared, because I was still nervous. I was a brandy new nurse. So, but I was like, okay, like I did something right. I did this right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, so that's not.
I don't think I ever had it figured out, but I was like, when I became a nurse, and this was after, I don't know how many.
Celebration of a milestone. I know that's not like, because I mean, this guy was like, I am 21. Okay. I am 21. There's nothing that's going to surprise me in life.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's going to happen that I'm not prepared for. I'm from the hood. Nothing can surprise me. 21 was a very humbling year for your boy. 22 was a very humbling year for your boy. 23. Look.
You were just getting humbled year after year.
Left and right. 20s was rough, man. They were definitely my roughest years. I mean,
know what?
You were with me.
I was with you, and yeah.
Those were my roughest years for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of lessons.
Look, this person right over here, you see this? That's the best thing that happened to me in my 20s. I met her. So like
we were both learning a lot in our 20s though.
We
thought we knew, but we didn't know.
Wow,
and then we were like, we both had humbled. You definitely got humbled more than me in your 20s, but I had many humbling moments as well.
God was like, oh, you 20? Learn that. I'm like, okay, God, okay.
I got some lessons I want you to learn, son.
Yeah, man. But I wish a lot of them didn't happen, but you can't. Where I am now, I'm very blessed and I'm very fortunate to be where I am now, and I've learned a lot through those. So you
have,
as our good friend would say, is it's character building.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah. What about well, first off, we met each other early in our 20s, but I mean, I
met you
left.
like, what was it, like 3 weeks before my 21st?
Yeah, you met me a few weeks before your 21st. I was already I had just turned 21 earlier that year.
Rocking my cradle, baby.
But I mean, I started nursing school when I was 17. So I graduated when I was 19. So I would say after that, I really started like dating. Like, I would say I was dating like, I'm gonna say after that, because I started dating in nursing school actually.
I was about to say, don't you be over here lying.
I'm not gonna be lying out here in these streets. No, I started dating in nursing school. Yeah. But I would say like from like 17, 18 to like 21 when I met you, I was like out here like living it up.
As you should.
Yeah, I was out here in these streets living it up.
Should, as long as you ain't hurting nobody out here.
Yeah.
If you ain't hurting nobody,
yeah,
enjoy that time. But
but I think as far as dating, I think it's important to like date and like find out what you like in your 20s. I'm not saying that should stop in your 30s or 40s. I'm not saying it should stop there, but I've met people, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this, but I've met people. I had friends when we were in our 20s, and you meet that person, you think you're going to spend the rest of your life with them, which we ended up spending, the rest of our lives with each other since I was 21.
Yeah, up until now.
Yeah, until now, until this
we
day.
ain't dead yet. I mean, I'm still here. I don't know about you, but
until this day. But it's like, I don't know. I didn't put that pressure to be like, oh, we're meeting and like we're getting married.
Oh,
I don't think it should be this pressure of like, this is like the one. Like, I need to make sure this person checks all these boxes. It's like, no, just date and have fun. If you happen to meet that person, like, I think that's awesome. That's great. But like, date, have fun, see what you like. If you want to be in a monogamous relationship, cool. If you don't, yeah,
go for it. Hey, I definitely agree. I definitely do not think anybody should be looking to be married in their 20s. I don't think anybody is ready for that. No, okay, maybe not. Let me not say anything.
Well, we got married like in our late 20s. Like, I think I was 29.
Let me finish my point.
Okay.
I was going to say from like 20 to 25. No. Just no. Because, I mean, again, nothing's a blanketed statement. So there are some people who was like, I was ready for marriage when I came out of the womb and I had a 401k already. You know what I mean? So like, special people are special people. But for the average, that should not be on the table. Unless, you know what I'm saying? Things happen, life happens. You might come across a special soul where you're like, I cannot imagine being without this person. Then yeah, that's just a different story.
Yeah.
But that should not be the intention that you're going in with somebody with, is like marriage. That early, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know, when we were talking, I wasn't thinking about marriage. That's
we're not thinking about marriage. No.
I mean, we're both at a college party that neither one of us attended this college. We were not married on the brink.
No,
neither one of us was students at this college.
No, we weren't. We were up there for homecoming to party and, do things that happen at homecomings in college. Yeah. What about sex? First of all, I want to preface this. Safe sex is great sex. Okay. Mm-hmm. Don't be naive. Like, use protection. Be aware that birth control does not always work. Okay. So abstinence is the only way to not get pregnant or impregnate someone else, or, risk getting an STI. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, what do you think about like when you were like young, like dating, like having physical relationships, like with women in your 20s? I'm just going to speak for myself. I think that for me personally, my sexuality in my 20s, and this is not a secret. I mean, it's we already know this about each other, but I think in my 20s, I had fun as far as like my sexual partners. Because I think for me, like I had to figure out what I liked like before I got married. I don't think I never had plans on waiting until I got married to lose my virginity. I never thought that. Even when I was a virgin, I was like, I'm not waiting until I get married. I need to know what I like before I get married. Not that you need a partner to do that, because you can still discover yourself. Like you can still,
for sure,
discover what you like on your own. But as far as
yeah.
being in a physical relationship with someone, I was like, listen, you guys are saying hold off until marriage. You're saying this message in church, and I was just in church looking up, like, I'm not doing that.
Oh, no.
I'm just not doing it. I need to know
Look,
what I
man,
like before I, get into that long-term relationship like that.
as far as my sexuality in my 20s, and I feel you, figure out what you like,
Yeah.
and then keep exploring too. Don't just be like, I
Yeah.
like this, and then don't explore ever again.
Right.
Keep that thing going. But
Right.
anyway, for me, and this is just me speaking for me as well, I wasn't really, I mean, look, I had fun, but I was not as sexually active as like a lot of my other friends. I am not somebody who can just be out here just like with people one night and on to the next. Like I genuinely need to have a connection with the person before that even happens. It's a stigma that I've been kind of fighting since I was 16. Like everybody just thinks I was a player or something. You know what I
But
mean?
you had
It was
a connection with everyone you've been intimate with?
no. I said usually.
Oh,
You know
okay.
what I mean?
Okay.
Again, everything's not a blanketed statement. There was definitely one or two in there where it was just like, hey,
I just
one
need to
night,
keep this off.
this night looking real nice, you looking nice. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely. But I mean, that wasn't like the way that my friends were approaching women.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. It wasn't even a confidence thing. I just did not want that. I did not. I was always somebody who is afraid of sexually transmitted infections and diseases and everything that comes with that. And I was always somebody who believed in the transference of spirit. The person you sleep with, you are taking on their energy a little bit. So like, I just never wanted to be out here like that as a man. And if that's what you want as a man, hey, go for it. And you ain't hurting nobody. If you're not hurting anybody, if you are, you're trash. But like, I just never wanted that, you know.
Yeah, you never wanted that, but you still had partners.
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying like I was out here like going to church every Sunday and just keeping it clean. I mean, like I said, I definitely had fun, but I wasn't like going to the club and like finding my thing for the night or my thing for the week or having this big long call log of different girls' numbers. It just never was my style,
You're saying
believe it or not.
you were out here, but you weren't trying to like build up a roster. You were just
No,
like,
man.
want to have
Like
fun, but I'm not out here like making it my main purpose.
yeah, again, the certain stigma that I've had to fight since I was 16 was like, handsome, you got a nice smile, all the girls must be. I'm like, listen, it's just, I don't know how the girls feel, but it's just not my style. You know what I mean?
If and when we have children, are you going to tell them the real age you lost your virginity?
I know.
Are you going to tell them that we both had sex before marriage?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've never been a stiffler about premarital sex. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean, no knock to anybody who wants to do that, but premarital sex was the whole thing when people was getting married at fucking 16 years old. Freaking was getting married at 16 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But how are you gonna tell? I mean, I don't know, because like, it's so funny because I've heard like a few parents say this, like, I'm not gonna be honest with my kids about when I lost my virginity, but But then you're saying you will tell our children that we've had sex before marriage.
Yeah, but
So
I'm not telling
how
them
is
about
that
the
story going to
age.
go?
Okay, they don't need to know the age that I lost my virginity yet to know that we did not wait till marriage to have sex. You know what I
Oh yeah,
mean?
I know. I'm just saying, like, if we had kids, like, I
Yeah.
guess, it's a very hypothetical because
I don't know. Okay,
us having kids is
so
not looking like it's in the running for us anytime soon. But I
little doggy.
how would you tell that's what I'm saying though. Parents be like, well, I'm not going to tell my kids like the real age I lost my virginity. But then they'll say stuff like, but I probably will tell them that I,
And
had sex
truth
before
be
marriage.
told, how much is your age, your parents' age that they lost their virginity coming up? Like, how are you really going to have to answer that question? I'm
Who
not saying you're
knows? I
not going to
don't know.
have to, but if
We
it
don't
comes
have
up,
kids.
look, if it comes up, if that time comes and you ask me the question, yeah, I'm going to tell them. I'm not going to tell them the age that I lost it because I just feel like mainly probably if we have boys that it might give a little bit of confirmation of like I need to beat dad's age or I need to like
That's
just
yeah.
is what I feel like comes with that. It's not that I don't want to tell them. I just don't want them to be like, well, if dad did it at that age, then I got to do it younger
Right.
or like at the
Right.
same age, and that's just not fair. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
that's really
Not
what my
fair. I
question
just
was.
don't want that. It's not about fairness. I just don't want that. You know?
Yeah, because then they might be like, well, mom and dad were out here at this age, so I guess I can start doing it now too.
Yeah.
So
Today.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't. Again, maybe that might not be the case, but that's the hypothetically, that's how it played out in my head. That's how the hypothetical played out in my head. So
Yeah. I think that's something I will be concerned about too. It's like, well, you don't want to, because then you don't want your kids to feel ashamed when they're out here like being sexual. But then it's like you don't want to tell them like, well, mom and dad lost their virginity at this age. So then you don't want them thinking like, well, I can do it at this age too. But
yeah.
I guess
And
we will cross that bridge when it
and
comes.
boys is gonna be like, well, I need to beat dad. I need to, if he did it at this age, I need to do it a year before. You know what I
That's
mean?
what you think they're going to think.
I think so. I just think that's the nature of boys. They want to beat Pop. You know what I mean? Like they want to beat Pop in that basketball game. They want, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not that they're in competition with me. It's just like dad. That's dad. You know what I mean?
So, yeah. I know what you mean. I think something else that I'm getting into, excuse me, I don't think I ever wasn't into it, but I think.
Oh, hold on. You ain't about to duck that question. Are you going to tell if we have kids and we have little daughters, don't be ducking questions.
First of all, ask the question.
Okay. Same question to you.
Okay.
If we have little girls, are you going to tell them about the age? Well, yours is different.
Tell them my real age that I did that. Let me think. First of all, let me think about what age that was. That was okay. I mean, honestly, what'd you say?
It's all those millennia ago.
Oh, please. Honestly, the age that I did lose my virginity, it was way after a lot of my friends. Honestly, it's considered late.
Saying yours is a little bit different. I don't know if that question worked for you.
Yeah, I don't
yours was a little bit later.
Yeah, mine was later than honestly probably all my friends, to be honest with you. I was probably the last one to lose my virginity out of all my friends.
What? Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Lies. These are lies being told from you. It's not true.
I still am. This lady that's over here, help me. No,
it's not true. But I mean, I don't know because honestly, I was still young, but it was late compared to like my closest friends.
Yeah.
But a lot of my friends in nursing school, I know a lot of them were still virgins, but the friends that I had outside of nursing school, no, they had already lost their virginity. So
that's a terrible question for you.
Yeah.
I was trying to put you under pressure.
Yeah, I was gonna say my age wouldn't even be. Man. I feel like my age is an average good age to lose your V card, but no judgment.
I'd say the same about Matt, but
but something that I think it's probably true for both of us. I'm not going to speak for you, but I think something that I feel like you just learn this as you get older, but I feel like I learned this. I feel like I'm more focused on it now. Like I try to make it I try to make sure that I'm learning about people outside of my experience.
Mm.
If that makes sense. I'm trying to learn about people who come from different places, who have had different experiences. Yeah, I think that's something that just moving from Pittsburgh to LA, it's a totally different population. It's such a melting pot out here.
Man, talking about day and night.
Yeah, at least when I came out here in 2013.
Yeah, it's a little bit after that, but around the same time.
So when I came out, I was like, wow, like I've never worked with so many nurses of different ethnicities until I came out here, because back home I was always like the only Black nurse and one of the only black nurses. Yeah, I was mainly working with white people, and then you come out here and you're like, not that I didn't know there weren't other ethnicities. Obviously, I knew that, but when you start working with them and talking with them about their experiences and where they come from, and yeah, it was definitely, I would say, a culture shock for me, just because, like I said, I'm always not even the only Black person. I was always usually one of the only people of color, period.
Yeah.
So I think when you're like in your 30s, I think, and I'm not saying it doesn't happen in your 20s, like I said, I think I started to get a taste of that when I came out here, but you start to realize, like, okay, like your experience, to go back to what you said about, like, sometimes in your 20s, you think you know everything. And then I came out here and I was like, oh, like there are other people of color at work and they have different experiences. Although we had many similar experiences, they also have different experiences than me. So
some worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think that's something that I don't think I was ever closed off to it. I think that's just something I'm more mindful of as I get older. Is that,
I don't know if it was ever a closed offness more than you just didn't know. You didn't know it existed. Like,
it's not even that I didn't know it existed, but it's just like out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, it wasn't in your sphere of existence in Pittsburgh. It just was not something at that time.
Yeah, at that time.
Pittsburgh's different now.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more diversity, but when we were there, I mean, it was just, I like to think of Pittsburgh like two ways. It's like before Google got there and then like post Google.
Yeah.
Because before Google got there, it was not the same city. You know what I mean?
Right. It wasn't the same city.
Bakery Square, Bakery Square, Google definitely changed, a lot more diversity.
Yeah, I told you last time I went home last year during the summer, and I went to that new Target it's not new now, but it's newer. The Target that they built in East Liberty. Well, East Side now that they gentrified it, it's called East Side now, whatever.
It's East Lib.
It'll always be East Lib to me. But I went in that Target and I don't think I've ever seen that many people of different ethnicities like at one place in Pittsburgh. I was like,
this is how,
wow, this is not how this looked when I left here, or even when I was here last time. I was like, I had never seen so many. I was like, it's usually either like Black or white. I think in certain parts we would see Latino people, which they were still wasn't a ton of them whenever we left Pittsburgh. There still wasn't a ton.
I do not remember seeing one Latino person. I do not remember seeing one. Like I remember Black, white, and then a little bit later on life, it was like Asian. I think,
I think also to speak to that too, I think because of where we lived and were raised, I think whenever I started to get older and started going to like college parties and stuff, and then I was actually hanging out in areas where there were universities, it's like then you see like the international students.
They're coming from other places.
Places, yeah.
They're not from Pittsburgh.
Right. So maybe that's why I was starting to see other ethnicities, but I mean, I'm not going to say that there was like tons of them. There still wasn't, but I mean, when I went back home to Pittsburgh though last year, I was just like, wow, I don't think I've ever seen this many different ethnicities.
I remember last time I went back to Pittsburgh, I was just walking around downtown. I'm like, all right, just trying to see what's new. And this is how little the diversity in Pittsburgh was before we left. I seen a taco place and I was like, what? Like not like crunchy, like East Coast. I'm talking about authentic, like handmade tortilla, like something you would get in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Type taco place. And I was like, whoa.
Right.
You know, the only thing you could order out in Pittsburgh when we was there was like Chinese food and pizza.
Yeah. There was, okay,
Some
to speak to
Italian
what
food too. Bomb Italian. Look, great Italian food city.
yeah.
I will say that for sure. But
There was the one place though, well, the one place that I know I used to go to, Lorena Foods in the Strip District. That was owned by Latino people, and they used to make really, really good tacos.
they
Like
had like the
somebody's
Raya taco shells.
the what?
Was it called Raya?
No, it was
RAYA?
called Lorena Foods. I remember.
Oh yeah.
I don't
Yeah, I
think
remember.
I
I
think I
remember
took
that.
you there. Yeah, I think you
It was on the strip.
it
And
was
then
in the
we got
Strip District.
we got those mung bean cakes afterwards.
We got yeah. So
Oh
if you
yeah, I
went to
remember
the
that.
Strip District, I feel like you could get foods of different
Okay, my bad.
ethnicities. And that's not
Yeah.
even to say we had like tons of it, but I feel like you could get
I felt
like
like that was about it.
yeah. I feel
I
like
felt like
we
that was
had
about it.
people from the actual culture making that food.
But for me, a north sider of Pittsburgh, I mean, we didn't really go over to the strip district that much. You were from that side of town. You know what I
I
mean?
know.
So like if you're not, that's the thing about Pittsburgh. If you can spend your whole life on one side of town in Pittsburgh and not even know about anything else, even though it is so close, it is so weird. Like
Okay, but that
east
mainly
side and
is
north side is not that far away. You know what I mean?
it's not, but I feel like people from the east side would know about the north side and west side. I feel like some
Nah,
folks on the
not
north
really, man.
listen, not everybody, not everyone, but I feel like, and
Yeah.
I feel like I have even met people from the north side who have said this. They're like, I don't need to leave
Yeah.
the north side because everything I have is over here. And so
It's
there
kind of
were
true.
people who were
Well,
from the north side specifically.
a resident north sider of Pittsburgh, it is the best side. If we're just gonna have a communication about this. I mean, it is the side of town you could just live on and not go anywhere. To be fair.
Yeah, but it's kind of crazy.
It is crazy.
That you haven't crossed the bridge to go to like the east side.
Well,
I'm not judging
that was
anyone.
never my dream, so
I'm not here to judge anyone, but I mean, initially, I mean, I wasn't raised on the north side. When I spent my first few years, like up until I was a toddler on the north side, but raised on the east side. But I cannot say I'm like from there because I was not raised on the north side. I was raised on the east side, Stanton Heights.
From that North Franklin.
But yeah, that's interesting though, that like people from the north side just never crossed the bridge to even go to the strip district.
I was going to say this one thing. So because of all that experience, I feel like I really, even though like I feel like I had more of a why can't I talk today? Worldly, say it with me.
Worldly?
There we go. Yeah.
Okay.
You than you, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm somebody, like I've always loved food.
Yeah.
So the way I've experienced a lot of culture is through food. You know, so though we grew up in the same city, just because I might have been eating something that might have been from somewhere that's not Pittsburgh. You know what I mean?
Right.
I might have just like a smidgen more understanding of the culture, just like that much more.
I think that's true. You definitely had a I don't know if I'm saying this right, but a more mature or a more open palate than me. Well, as far as trying different foods. So yeah, you know me, and even still to this day, I'll try new things, but like I'm also
it takes a while.
I'm also okay with eating like the same thing. I will eat leftovers and I'll eat the same thing, where you always have to have something different every day. But
I don't have to have something different every day.
You what?
I don't have to have something different every day.
You don't have to have something different every day.
If what I ate the previous day was fire, I'm perfectly fine with having it the next day.
Right. But are you going to go on to the third day of eating it?
No, absolutely not.
Exactly. I will still eat it on the third day.
Again, depending on what it is. Spaghetti? Yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you like spaghetti.
Depending. It depends.
Yeah. Now, I feel like you still be getting tired.
When do I get tired of spaghetti, though?
I don't think you eat spaghetti. I don't think you will eat anything for more than 2 days, honestly. You might pick at it the third day, but to have it as a meal, I don't know if that's true.
Girl, A5 Wagyu?
Oh my gosh. That's not something unless you're like a millionaire, who's going to eat that every day? You have to be of a certain tax bracket to eat that every day. Which we are not.
Girl, I'm about to hit the stripper pole because I need that tax bracket.
Oh my gosh.
wild
There's
to me.
other ways
But
to
anyway,
get here. But
seriously, yeah, you're right. I probably won't eat anything after 3 days.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not spaghetti, pizza maybe. But you be trying to eat like fried chicken 5 days later. I just be like, no.
First of all, no, not just any fried chicken. Korean fried chicken. Korean fried chicken. Listen, I don't want to start any battles, any problems, but
No, this isn't for here.
okay.
This isn't for here. But look, listen, we'll make this statement. Korean fried chicken is the superior fried chicken. To our knowledge, as of this day of recording, it is the superior fried chicken.
It's the superior fried chicken. I'm sorry, but
we won't leave it at
brothers
that.
and sisters got it on lock.
We're gonna leave it at that.
We'll leave it
but
at
anyway, I feel like a lot of my growth, I could definitely attribute to Los Angeles. Just because it's just a different place. I feel like it was a little bit more supportive and conductive of my growth for me personally. So like, just being around a different pool of people and, just having a little bit more freedom is what I would say.
Yeah.
In Los Angeles.
Excuse me.
So I still feel like though we are our ages 30, how old am I? 34, 33? How old am I?
33.
33. Like, I still honestly sometimes feel like I'm 21 until I try to do something physical. Then I very much realize that I am 33. Yeah. But
I know what you mean.
I still don't feel like, I still feel like I have a lot more learning to do. I still have a lot more growth to go. And, I feel like as long as you have that understanding, then you'll be fine. At 21, at 33, at 40.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I always want to be like open to new experiences and learning new things. And definitely, I feel like I'm just coming more into that now that I'm in my 30s, where I'm just like, you don't have to have it all figured out. No one has it all figured out. Like, make your own definition of success and just know that like what's yours is yours.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, everyone, thank you so much for being here. We hope you enjoyed this conversation. We hope that you are doing well and, make your own definition of success, no matter what your age is. Success is whatever you say it is, and live your own life, live your own dreams, and not the dreams of someone else. I think that's the bottom line that we were.
Don't go around life slapping people either.
Don't go around life slapping people. Don't do that.
Not a good move. It's not a good look. It's not a good look, man. His follow through was whack. I'm sorry. I got to bring this one more thing up. Will Smith's follow through on that smack. Not enough people was talking about that. It was terrible. It was terrible. All right, close it out. I'm sorry.
We're done.
Okay.
We're done.
Goodbye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Have a good one.
Live well. Take care. We'll see you next time here on our days off.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in. You can stay up to date with us by following us on our Instagram page at On Our Days Off. You can catch us on our YouTube page, or you can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts.